Hello, and welcome to this week's lesson. I'm Kieran, and I will be taking you through the 6 words found on this week's social media, which contain popular English words and phrases. We look at words and phrases from everyday life here in the UK, help you pronounce them, provide an easy to understand definition, and give you a clear example of how you could use it in real life. Anyway, let's get started with our first word this week. Hello, and welcome to this week's show. So, this week we have for you again 6 more words and phrases for you to learn about, understand, and get to know. So, all of these words have been on our social media feeds at KWSA English in the past week. So, if you want to go over them at the social media websites of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you can take a look at those. So let's get on to this week's words and phrases. The first word we have for you this week is another tasty one, and this one is grub. So what does grub mean? Well, let's take a look in the definition. This is the informal name given by people in the UK to the food that they eat. This can be used for any meal of the day. Again, a tasty definition there. So let's have a look at the example so we can understand further. The friends had a really nice dinner together, eating lots of grub. This included bread, tomatoes, pizza, and cheese. The second phrase we have for you this week in this week's show is a sporty one. And this first phrase is first leg. Now, what does first leg mean? It's an unusual phrase. So let's have a look at the definition. This is the name given to the first match in a 2-match series. Each leg is played at each team's stadium to be fair. So this can happen in football and other sports. So there's the definition. And now let's have a look at the example of first leg. The home team won the first leg 1-0. They had an advantage going into the second leg. They only needed to draw the next match. The next word we have for you is an outstanding natural wonder. And this word is Aurora. That's a very fancy sounding word, but let's find out what it means in the definition. So these are natural lights which appear in the sky. They are caused by the sun's energy hitting the Earth's magnetic field. So this is an amazing sight if you have ever seen it, but this is very rare and a phenomenon, as we call it in science. So let's look at an example to learn exactly how these work. The friends camped out all night in the hope of seeing the aurora at night. They were delighted when they woke up at 2 a.m. to see it and see all the colourful lights in the dark night sky. We now have a tasty and sweet phrase for you coming up, and this one is Bakewell Tart. This is a special kind of cake we have here in the UK. So let's find out more in the definition, a little more about this delicious cake. This is a pastry cake topped with icing and a cherry. It is filled with sponge and jam. They originate from the town of Bakewell in England. Again, there's the definition, which tells us a little about the Bakewell Tart, but let's learn even more with a helpful example. The couple went to the small town of Bakewell to buy and taste original Bakewell tarts. They thought the tarts were delicious. Moving on to the fifth phrase this week, we have another sporty phrase. So let's look at this one, which is around. So what does around mean? Well, let's have a look at the definition. This is to play golf on each of the 9 or 18 holes on a golf course. Rounds are most often played amongst a number of players. So there's the definition of a round. So let's learn exactly what may happen on a round by looking at the example. The man took the first shot on the round with his friends. There were 2 other friends playing and they finished their round in 3 hours. The final word we have for you this week is one that is inspirational and to do with hard work. This one is persevere. So that's a kind of a long word, but it's really not that difficult to understand. So let's have a look at it in the definition. This is when we continue to do something even though it seems very difficult. People are often stronger for persevering with tasks. So it's a very, very strong-minded thing to do, to continue to persevere with something difficult. So let's take a look at an example. The woman hired a personal trainer to help her become fitter. The personal trainer helped her persevere with her training. Thank you for taking part in this week's lesson. We really appreciate your company. We will be back with more lessons each week to provide you with the most important English words and phrases. Why not check out our website and find out how you can further improve your English with our online self-study courses. We have a free 2-week trial so you can learn exactly how to use our course by the time the trial ends. Feel free to check out our social media feeds to keep up with the latest news. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye!